Hi everybody, it's me Bijan. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, hi new friend. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how I didn't realize I was spending so much energy on trying to be quote unquote normal. One of the biggest things for me is I didn't realize I was constantly monitoring myself, and it could be something as simple as going to pick up a prescription and how I'm holding my hands, how I'm being when the person is doing something and I'm just standing there waiting for the prescription, or talking points. Is silence okay? Do I need to say thank you, sorry for being an inconvenience because I need to pick up medicine or something like that? And for me, in conversations, I'm consistently, am I asking enough questions? Am I being socially acceptable? Am I looking at them enough? So I always made sure I was trying to make eye contact, which is really uncomfortable for me. And another thing for me is if I am making contact, then I'm not able to fully listen to you because I'm not good at eye contact. So I kind of tend to look away, and then I'm like, oh, do they think I'm weird because I'm not staring into their eye? I guess I was just always waiting to see, like, does this person think I'm being weird, or am I acting normal enough for society, essentially? Another thing I do is edit my personality a lot, or at least I used to. I would try to adapt to the people around me to the point where I didn't even know what my own personality was. So if I thought my interests were too weird, or I was asking too many questions and I was asking too much, then I would try to just, shake my head and say, yeah, that's really awesome, cool, and kind of seem disengaged because that's kind of what other people do. So I tried to follow essentially their social cues to not be over the top too much or a burden or maybe annoying or too weird for the people. I don't know. I guess everyone has their own perception of what those things are. But for me, in my brain, I'm constantly trying to monitor those things. A lot of times I would push myself through exhaustion and not realize that not everyone feels this way. So I would go hang out with somebody and, 2 hours into it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I could go home and sleep for 10 years. But then I realized not everyone feels that way after hanging out with people. Some people actually feel energized. I think for me, due to trauma, I never wanted to be alone. So I was always okay being around people, which came from an unhealthy place. But then I realized how much it exhausted me. And so I'm somebody who I would just ignore the exhaustion and push through it and say, just try harder, because that's what everyone else does. But then I realized not everyone does that actually. I would study how people socialized, and I kind of touched on this a little earlier, but I would literally watch how people interacted with each other. I would quietly observe, and funny enough, most people didn't notice if I was being quiet because that's kind of a normal thing in some situations, but I would very much observe the people around me to kind of mimic how they were acting. And again, I didn't have my own personality because I was adapting to theirs to make sure they would like me and that I was fitting in okay and I wasn't being too much and I wasn't being too weird. Because a lot of people would always tell me, I talk really fast, I ask too many questions, can you calm down a little bit? Because I'm very hyper sometimes. I always just felt like I was too much. I think the biggest thing with finding out that I was autistic on top of having ADHD is I don't want to mask myself anymore. I want to just be able to be me. And if the right people don't think I'm too much, then those are my people. But if people think I'm too much, then I don't really want those people in my life, to be honest with you, because masking is really exhausting. And I've also come to realize that now that I know I'm autistic, the masking is a lot harder for me. I'm having a lot more trouble actually masking because my brain is like, we know you're autistic now, let's take the mask off, be yourself. So it's almost like once you know something, you can't unlearn it. And my brain just keeps going and going and going instead of trying to mask now. So it's getting harder almost. And I almost feel like I'm regressing a little bit, but we can talk about that in another video. Sorry, that was a ramble. I didn't realize how freeing a diagnosis would be at the end of the day. I think that kind of plays into being able to finally unmask things for myself and be who I am. But I found that I'm leaning more into my own personality. And I can't tell you how cool it is to finally be discovering who I am as a person and not who everyone else is. I think the only person I've never really masked and taken on their personality with is my partner that I'm with right now. And she is just the biggest blessing because I never once found myself saying things that were her personality. I always found myself being able to be my true self. And even more so now that I know everything and I'm able to fully unmask, it's just a very freeing feeling. I feel like weight has been taken off my shoulders and I just want to be myself. And I don't think that's too much to ask for anybody in this life. I think honestly, the world we live in, we should all be able to be ourselves at the end of the day, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, as usual, thanks for listening to me ramble. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.